Go ahead and close your eyes if you can. We're going to go ahead and take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And once you're at the top, exhale out your mouth. Really letting everything go. Another deep inhale through your nose. All the way to the top. Fill your stomach and your lungs. And once you're at the top, hold your breath. And exhale out the mouth. Letting all the air out. Exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes when you're ready, if you close them. Welcome to Mindful Moves with me, your host, Daniela Jensch. Today's topic is something that I personally believe has been probably spoken about in many circles, whether it's professionals or whether in your own head or with your friends. The rise of loneliness in today's world is something we will be discussing. The thing that sparked my interest in this topic is just how our society has progressed. We are probably in the most connected age we've ever been in. We have DMs, we have Instagram, we have followers, we have text messages and group chats. We even have apps, meditation apps that check in on us every day. But at the end of that day, there's still that feeling that something is missing. There's that feeling that although you are so connected, in quotation marks, is this disconnect. And we don't really feel that we belong so much anymore. And my personal take on this is there's a worldwide loneliness epidemic, but let's first understand what that means to the human being, right? So humans are wired for connection and community. I think community is something that we have always, for millennia, had, and it is something that is wired so deeply in us and roots us and keeps us grounded. We've always had community as we grew up, from way back in the day where there was no technology. If you think about that form of connection, the only source, the only form of connection was human connection. And I think there's wonderful tools. I feel lucky to be in a digital age in the sense that there's beautiful connections you can make in a different way. There's a spread of information. Everybody around the globe, if you have access to Wi-Fi, has a better chance of being informed or learning, especially we have so many tools online now. So this episode is not to demonize at all the tools that we can gain from technology and how it brings us forward in a lot of ways. But it's more to talk about loneliness in the sense that we are lacking deep human connection and what the main causes are. I think that the first one, we're going to speak about the illusion of community and connection, because I think they go hand in hand. So that illusion looks like now having AI involved. This is a big one. A lot of people I know will go to AI for advice, will pour out their heart, speak to AI, tell them everything that's on their mind, and use this form as a form of therapy. And that's just a small example, but it comes also down to social media and how social media will give you this dopamine hit in this dopamine loop, and that's why we keep going back to it. And all of these are just to say that we have found this illusion of community and connection through seeing people's faces, through hearing feedback from words we've said, whether it's a chat bot or if it's a reel that you see and you see someone's face and they're talking about something that you feel connected to. These things are not inherently bad things, but if we use these to replace community and human connection, that's where the illusion part comes in. Because your psyche and your brain sees these things as, okay, this means I have a community. I see people, I hear people, I see text, I feel I have community, but that's not how it works. Because at the fundamental core of it, the illusion comes from the fact that you cannot replace human connection with any connection. You can only have human connection in its own category. Nothing will replace someone with a heartbeat or something with a heartbeat close by to you within a meter. Nothing is going to replace a hug. It can be the best well-worded DM you've ever received or group chat message. Nothing will replace human connection because it is so intrinsically coded into our DNA. There's nothing that we can do to replace that. And so that illusion can sometimes make us feel, okay, but we are connecting, we are connected, we are not lonely. But then sometimes you get that feeling at the end of the day, if you haven't seen your friends in a while, or spoken to a family member, or reached out to someone that you care about, you have that feeling. And that feeling, something I do want to mention, although loneliness can feel like a feeling or an emotion, I like to see it more as a primal instinct. We have intellectualized a lot of stuff, including our emotions, but some things are just primal to human beings because we started out, let's say way back in the day, having community, having groups and tribes of people. You always had each other's back. You always were around other people. You were always supported, uplifted. Sometimes you fought with them, but you always had the sense of community, right? Because the people in front of you were always there. We didn't have this day and age where you could see someone on a screen. That just didn't exist, right? So in our DNA, so deeply coded, is this art of connection. And that just basically goes to say that it's deeply rooted in us and that human connection is how we are wired and we can't replace that. There's nothing that will replace that. So this illusion of community and safety and belonging comes through AI, technology, just to name a few. That's not all of them, right? And that's the first cause, I would say. The second one is we are addicted to comfort and convenience. We've become super reliant on it in the sense that everything is at our fingertips now. We don't have to go to the shopping center anymore and get our groceries. We are also able to do that on our phone now. That again takes away small micro moments of human connection, like looking at a teller in the eyes, seeing someone in the shop in the same aisle as you, looking up, making eye contact, giving a smile. All these small human connection bids, they matter. They really matter. So in your head, you might be thinking, oh, it means you need to be super connected to your friends and your family. Of course, that's one aspect. But something even as basic as seeing humans outside has also started to decrease. We don't do that anymore. A lot of people just order stuff on their phones, have it come to them. And these are these small micro moments. Again, we're also addicted to convenience and comfort in the sense that we nowadays don't go out of our way to be a villager. What does that mean? If you want a village, if you want to belong, if you want to feel belonging, you need to be a villager. You need to show up. You need to show up for your friends, whether that's and family, whoever. You need to show up for your people. And we've become so convenienced in everything that we do that, for example, if a friend lands and they flew somewhere and they've just landed and they need a ride, they can just Uber now. Where before we would maybe pick them up from the airport, there would be these small acts of showing up. Or your friend says, hey, I'm going to pick you up. Let's go to the shop together. Nowadays, we order stuff, comes online. This is not everybody's reality, of course. This is a very key aspect. I'm just talking in the broader sense. And this convenience, maybe you've worked the whole day and you are tired and your friends want to get together or your family members and you are too exhausted, so you'd rather scroll on your phone as a form of dopamine and to relax you. It's not to say that you can't do that, but if you want belonging and community, you need to inconvenience yourself. And now it sounds funny. I'm not ever saying that you sacrifice your own needs for other people. You don't people please. You don't go out of your way to look after other people instead of looking after yourself. There are days where I will sit with myself and say, I cannot see anyone this evening. I'm really, really exhausted. I've had a long day. I've had an intensive day. I don't have any more energy or my cup is empty and I can't pour. But it really depends on the day. And I know that if I do that every single day, that I will not see the people that I love. And I love spending time with people because I'm a human. I need the heartbeat on the other side of the room. I need to connect with people and talk to people and reflect with people. It is super important to me. It's as simple as even just watching something together, maybe a movie, but having your friend there. These little moments can only happen if you don't always pick the comfort route. Look after yourself, yes, but you will know those moments where there's a line in the sand where you're taking care of yourself or actually being lazy and not putting in the effort to show up for your people. So, take a moment to maybe think about that in your own life. See if that resonates. I'm giving a very general overview. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. But first one, the illusion of community and connection through technology. This is a big thing. The second one being we are addicted to our comfort and convenience. And number three being the fear of vulnerability. We are so scared of someone else hurting us that we put up these walls of protection to avoid any hurt in the beginning. But anytime you want to connect with a human being, or maybe you want to get into a relationship, or you want new friends, or you want to connect with people from the past again, you look out for yourself by avoiding that and not taking that risk. But unfortunately, that's how it works. Maybe fortunately too. If you learn how to be vulnerable and open up your heart, obviously don't let people hurt you. That's not the point, but there's always going to be that risk when creating or forming new connections. It might feel hard, but you are predicting the worst case scenario. Take a step back and realize that if you don't try and connect, if you don't reach out, if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't act on your vulnerability, it's very unlikely that new things will come into your life or new people. People see that vulnerability and they have that choice. If you stick your head out and ask someone out for a coffee, they have a choice. You need to be strong enough to handle whatever answer they give you, but that's how you build, that's how you create community, is by opening up, being vulnerable, sharing that you're human, sharing, taking that risk. And I think that they really do pay off. I think in all of our lives, we can remember a story of us being like, oh my goodness, I'm so nervous to reach out to this person. What if they reject me? Well, then it will be fine. I think that a lot of us get fixated on the outcome rather than the actual act of doing something. It is so beautiful to put yourself out there. It's so beautiful to keep your heart open and to walk around this earth not closed up, as much as external factors want you to do that. Keep your heart wide open. Protect yourself. Don't be silly, of course, but take a little risk here and there. It takes time to feel comfortable doing that and realize that everything is in your best favor. Anything that happens after that is just how it's supposed to be. So that's what I think is causing loneliness, those main three factors. What I do suggest, me personally, is, as always, you'll always hear this in the podcast, is starting with small things. Number one, maybe just creating a bid for connection on a small scale, like when I spoke about going to the grocery store. Maybe don't keep your head down or buried in your phone. Maybe take that moment of grocery shopping, observing, being present, and if someone walks by, maybe giving them a nice big smile. Maybe even just making eye contact. We forget that those small moments really matter, and I've come to the conclusion that they really do matter. There's nothing better to me. That's why I do an evening walk. I listen to music, I walk around, it's sunset time. Everybody kind of has the same idea, and I feel human again. I feel connected again because I see humans out in the world being cute and being humans. Whether it's taking their child on a walk and they are bursting with happiness because they're seeing a flower for the first time, or humans looking at the sunset. We are actually such beautiful beings. We're all just walking around and roaming this earth, looking at nature and looking at beautiful things and laughing with one another, or going and having food with one another, or simply being outside. It's the most beautiful aspect. And so, if you can do one thing for yourself, maybe once a day feels too much for you, maybe once a week feels doable, then do that. Small bits of connection, put yourself out there, and don't be stuck in. Whenever you're feeling like that, whenever you're feeling lonely, I always advise best thing, get outside. If you can, do it. Get outside our tiny screens, number one, and just small bids for connection. Number two, I would say, is practice being a villager, like I mentioned, practice, offer to drive your friend to the airport when they're about to go or when they land. Buy your grandma their favorite coffee and drop it off. You don't have to, a lot of the time we get so stuck on, oh, but it's going to take me so much time and I don't know when I'm going to be able to do this or fit everything in. Then do something small. Do a small gesture. Write a handwritten note. Create that human connection again through small, tiny acts. So that's the second thing I'd love you to focus on. Start putting yourself in the position. Maybe it's not the most convenient thing because you could probably do better things with your time. Everybody can. But it creates that connection. Number 3, I would say limit your time on connecting factors like technology, AI. I find there's beauty in all, right? I think that in social media, I mean, this community that I have here is wonderful. I speak to the most amazing people. I connect with lovely people, and it really does feel like human connection because we get to speak and share about our real stories. I think that that's so beautiful. Where before I would never be able to reach this audience. How? If we had no technology. So I love that connecting factor. However, it's really important to go from that. Let's say you've curated a beautiful online space. You're inspired by the people you follow. Maybe you speak to wonderful people or you watch TED Talks that inspire you. You still need to go back into your life and live your actual life. So when you limit time on your phone, I find that for me is the most magical part, is to be maybe inspired by something you've seen, but put the screens down. I swear our parents were right in that it is those damn phones. It is. It really is. Once you go from there and you get out into the real world and you connect with real human people and you retrain your attention span and you can be present and you can listen to a friend in need, that's where the magic happens. We think sometimes that we need to consume more so that we know better. But you will know better by being a human and just being out in the world. You don't need anyone to tell you anything. Even me sitting here today, if you're watching this, I don't have the answers for you. I'm a human connecting with you, and you will find the answers within yourself. We love drawing on inspiration. That's why community is so important, is to share ideas, to listen to new perspectives, and then create our own. That's what I love about this. So go and do that for yourself. Put down the screens. That's my advice. Number 3, put them down. We don't need them so often. And through this, you are going to be able to realize that you cannot rely solely on forms of connection where there's no human involved. It can even be an animal. I forgot to mention this earlier, but that's really important to me. It can be anything from this earth, back to basics. If you think of the core basics of life, nature, I feel one can connect to beautifully, animals and humans. There's just life in them. There's this beauty and this reciprocal energy, which I think is the most magical thing. So if you are feeling lonely, what I do want to mention is that's really not an easy place to be. It can feel very isolating, and I want you to really remember that it is not your fault. A lot of the topics that we speak about have inherently, we think that everything is our fault and we think that it's because of actions we are doing. I want you to know that our society has also been built in a way that doesn't always 100% best benefit you. So take that with a pinch of salt and know that it's just because I know that there's more out there for you. There is human connection, there is love, whether that's also first connecting to yourself and then finding community, whatever you feel comfortable with, just know that there is more out there. It can feel like a very isolating place, but once you kind of understand the biology of it and know how deeply rooted it is in our DNA, you start to accept that part of you and say, you know what, no wonder I feel this way because I'm a human. I deserve and want human connection, and I'm going to go out there and make it happen. And stop waiting. Stop waiting for someone else to do it. Be the person that initiates, be the person that's vulnerable. Open up your heart. There is no better feeling than walking around and just putting yourself out into the world in the best way you know how. Small micro moments help with this too. So, if you're ever struggling with loneliness, do not think that you're the only one with this either. I mean, 1 in 6 people are really deeply struggling with loneliness. So if you put that math together, you'll quickly realize that you really, really aren't by yourself in this, especially in how our world has progressed and become the most, in, quotation marks, most connected time in history. It doesn't mean it's the most connected time with human connection. So focus on that. Focus on whatever that means to you, whether that means connecting to yourself or others. I hope that this episode brought a different perspective, and I wish you all the best as you enter back into the world and your people find you and you just have a wonderful time. Remember that the light that you're constantly seeking on the outside is waiting to be acknowledged within. Have a beautiful day. See you next week. Thank you for being here.